All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passionately Speaking. This is our weekly public speaking class, and tonight we're going to have a geek class, so we're really excited about that. So welcome, everyone, and we got another really good one for you today. So first, I'm going to talk about the latest Zoom hacks, and then I'm going to turn it over to our very own geek, CJ Gilbert, who is going to show us how we can customize a frame for ourselves in Zoom. So you don't want to miss a minute of this. So first of all, the latest and greatest, and I just got the update yesterday, and I'm glad I updated because this morning I was in a meeting and somebody had the most peculiar thing on, and I said, what is that? Because I like to stay up in Zoom. And so this is what she had going on. And I was like, what is that? That's the cutest little thing I've ever seen. And watch, you can move and it moves with you, right? And so I was like, okay, I gotta know what that is, right? So then she went to show, this is one of my favorites. Show me where they are. You have to have the update, and that's what CJ has, and he's got glasses on, and you've got to have the update in order to be able to do this. But there's got a lot of cool things that you can use, and I know you're dying to know what those are. So, and then there's this one if you want to be a pirate. Hello, Benita. How are you? Benita's new to our community. She was at the $1 million, right? And there's laughing at all these things. So,
Arvee, I can't keep an eye on you.
good one, my dear. Okay, so let me share with you, and this is really fun. This is one of my favorites. You're on TV! Yay! All right. So how you get to these is you go to, if you have the updates, you first have to have the updates. And CJ, I'm going to have you explain how to grab the updates after I show them, because we don't want to take away from your presentation. I know it's going to be a good one. So the little arrow up right next to your video, if you have the latest, you're going to see choose video filter. It's right underneath choose the background. Choose the background. So if you have that, click on it, and then you're going to get a lot of different types of backgrounds and illusions and all kinds of different things that you can use, different filters. I can have a black and white. Look at I'm on black and white TV. Is that eerie or what? You can put yourself on stage with thousands of people, or you can put yourself in a little TV, or like I said, that big TV, or, win first place, all kinds of fun stuff. So play around with those. This is another fave of mine, a little picture being in a picture. Now just know, and we've seen this one before. How many people have seen people do this? And I've always wondered, what is that? Now remember, when you're speaking, you don't want to use these. These are just for fun. But when you're speaking, you don't want to use them. Why do you think that that's so? Because you're
distracting.
Oh, look at CJ's an angel.
I love it.
It is distracting, but here's the biggest reason. Because it puts one more layer between you and your audience, right? That's why we don't use a lectern, because it blocks us from our audience. So something like this provides one more block between you and your audience. So, although it's fun and everything like that, when you're speaking or if you're trying to meet people, you don't want the filter. Got it?
Got it.
Got it.
All right. So how many of you have the latest? That's cool. How many of you had, I know I saw Benita had it and Karen had it, right? Okay. So real quick, oh, Jackie, well, you'll get it. Look, Jackie, with that hat, you don't need it. Santa Claus is inside her head. Right there. All right. So CJ, real quick, tell everybody how they can go and get the upgrades should they decide that they don't have it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When Zoom launches on your computer, you're inside of a computer software of Zoom. And sometimes it launches you right into the meeting and you kind of skip the home page, if you will, but you usually find it when you leave the meeting, you're still left at that page. Let me share what that looks like on my screen here. So we can see do you see the lovely RV? And do you also see in this corner my Zoom panel? This is the Zoom software itself. Are you able to see this panel in the corner here? This is the software. This is what's left behind when you leave the meeting. And in the corner, it shows you if you're logged into your profile right here, it'll show your picture. And one of the options underneath this is check for updates. So you want to click this button, check for updates, and allow the software to see if you have the latest version or not. And if it's available, it'll usually pop up a big blue button that you can click, get me the latest update, take you over to the website, download the latest version. And it's okay if you're downloading that software and it looks like you're going to install it right on top of the old one. That's how it's supposed to work. So that's okay to just let it do that. And that should give you the updated version here.
All right. Thank you, CJ. So we will do that. You'll do that after our meeting today, and then just play with it. You can launch your own meeting and play with it by yourself and have a great time. Not play with yourself, just by yourself. Okay, I know, crazy. Okay, so we are going to turn it over. I just want to say I am so grateful and blessed, and we all are so blessed to have CJ as part of this community. He brings his brilliance on every single meeting, and we're always asking him some techie questions. And I know each of you probably reached out to him individually, but I am just feel so blessed. I just love you so much, CJ. You have just contributed such positiveness to my life and my events. And I'm just so grateful you're here. I know there's other events going on right now that you could be at. And I appreciate that you chose to be here. So
Absolutely,
I'm
of
going
course.
to turn it over to CJ Gilbert, our very own geek.
Yay! Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so pleased to be part of this community and be able to share with you guys what I love to do and what gets me excited. And I'm really glad that we didn't discuss this, but this was an absolute perfect segue because Arvee just showed you the easy way, the built-in way. They're adding new stuff to Zoom. You know, the more I learn about other software, the more I realize what an advanced tool Zoom is and how much stuff they have built right into it. They have audio filters that help our voices sound good, video filters that make us look good, and they're adding cool stuff like these borders and other things. Super advanced stuff baked right in. So the easiest thing is update your software and hit go and you're on a roll. But the thing that I wanted to show you today is what I'm doing with my Zoom panel, with my little window these days, and all the cool things that you can do with it. Let me show you one more really cool trick. What is it? What is that? Is it beginning to snow a little bit? Can you see my snow? These are all the effects that you can do. You might need to blow me up for just a second here. I'm going to spotlight myself
Oh,
No.
now we can see
for
it.
just a second
Yeah.
so that you can see me really big right there.
Very
And you
nice.
can see all the little snow. So I'm going to show you what we're doing today is we're essentially going to be creating your own custom border. And you can make this as simple or as complicated as you want to, but I want to show you both, right? I want to show you like everything that's possible and then show you that you can do it in small incremental ways. Does that make sense? So I'm just gonna do a quick demo. Here's my custom frame that you're looking at. I built this one just for this class, basically, but I have this one that I use for my show. I stream my show onto Facebook. So the same software that I'm gonna show you, you can use it for Zoom classes. You can also use it for streaming to Facebook or other places. So here's my jungle background. This is my quote unquote normal background that I use for streaming. Here, I'll turn that snow off for just a second. And then I can also go to my slides right in this view and look what I just added. This is super cool. You're going to love this. Watch this, you guys, as I head into my slides. Isn't that slick? Did you see that? Isn't that really cool? So now we're over here at my slides. So I'll bring it right back again so you can watch that happen. And this is what's known as a transition. So You can transition with a simple fade and a cut, and you can add these super custom effects. And so I had to build that one just yesterday to show you that that was a thing you could do. And isn't that neat? So what we'll do now is I'm gonna, all those tools that I just used is in my special software. So I'm gonna share now with the Zoom panel. That way you can still see my panel over here, but you can also see my full slides. You got my slides coming up there? This is a very special episode of Ask a Web Geek just for you guys. This is Tips from the Geeks Workshop. Arvee said, how do we do that? I want to do that. And I said, of course, I want to show you that. So here, I got to put my right background on, right? There we go. So today we're going to learn how to build a border or scene for your virtual room in Zoom. And I got to acknowledge that our sponsor of my little show today here, of course, is Passionately Speaking with Arvee Robinson, who I dearly, dearly love to be associated with. I'm so pleased to be her student. And I have I want to take this moment to celebrate something, and that is 301. Anyone have any idea what this number means? 301? Would you believe this? Since I started working with Arvee, I began tracking my speaking opportunities, just as she has coached us to do. And this one right here, right now, is number 301. Isn't that amazing? Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yay.
So
What?
thank you to all of you for being part of that journey. And I never would have known this if I hadn't started tracking those numbers and tracking those opportunities. So I had to acknowledge that. And in the middle of this, I thought it was so cool that this one ended up being number 301. So who am I? I'm CJ. I'm a bit of a web geek, and I have a show called Ask a Web Geek. I have a business called Gilbert Studios. In my business, I help people with their websites and online marketing. In my podcast and show, I have a lot of fun and hopefully help people with some tech stuff along the way. I believe that my business is serving your business. I believe that I get to act as like a magnifying glass, like a megaphone, and help you expand what you do. You have a message that only you can share to an audience that can only hear it from you. And I believe through my work, I can help magnify those efforts. I believe and I teach and I help people with their website. I believe it's your number one tool to grow and support your business. I gotta keep saying my message. My message is your website is the only thing you can fully own and control on the internet. And I've been saying that for years, and it's true every day. Have you been watching the news at all? It's true every day. Your website is the only thing you can fully own and control on the internet. And that's why it's so valuable. And it should help you with all the other aspects of your business, your sales, your customer service, and all the other things that add in. I have more to teach on that subject in my free video workshop, which you can find at my website, safari.com. Even if you already have a website, if you don't have a website, you can still learn how to make this tool work for you. And please check out my podcast. Join me on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're a podcast listener, it should be on the podcast player of your choice. I want to say congratulations to you for being here, for taking this class, for being involved in this program. You're clearly one of the people that's looking to improve yourself, improve your business, improve what you're working on. And to you, I say congratulations. You're in the right place at the right time. I've got a lot to present today, but it's going to help you take your speaking to the next level in this virtual environment. And there's a lot of information, but all you have to do is just be open to receive your one golden nugget. Just look for that one thing that'll help you, I think, not be too overwhelmed at I'm going to open the fire hose here in a second, but just look for that one golden nugget. It is recorded. You'll be able to come back to it as much as you need. Grab some paper. I like to recommend, if you don't already have a method, I like to draw one line down the middle. All your notes can go on the left and your action steps can go on the right. That'll help you kind of sort out how we went along versus the steps you want to take, or use whatever method works for you. Star those golden nuggets so that you can find them. And of course, a quick disclaimer, I'm a web geek. I'll help you as much as I can with the information I know, but of course, I'm not a lawyer or an attorney or a CPA or any of that. Of course, you should have those people in your business. So buckle up. Here we go. We're going to dive into the web jungle. Our featured topic of the week is how to build a border or scene for your virtual room in Zoom. Well, I got to say to you, congratulations. you're a broadcaster now. If you're working in this environment, if you're on Facebook, if you're doing these lives, if you're speaking or attending events, you're broadcasting from your own home office. This is probably a new concept. So maybe I'm the first person to let you know that, but here you are, you're a broadcaster, and I'm going to introduce you to some professional broadcast software. This is the software I've been using to run my show, Ask a Web Geek, as long as I've been doing it for a year, over a year now at this point, a little bit over a year. And the software is called OBS Studio. OBS stands for Open Broadcast Software. It's an open source software. That means it's free. That means it's built by the community and you can download it for free. All you have to do is Google OBS Studio, and it's probably the very first thing that's going to pop up right there, obsproject.com. There's a lot of softwares out there that you can do these kind of things with. This is the one I'm going to show you. It's the one I use, and it's totally free. And I think that it's really cool, especially because of this brand new feature that they have built in, which is called the virtual camera. This is new. This is something I couldn't do a year ago, but since Zoom and all of our virtual stuff came along, OBS in their newest version have included a way that you can use their software as your camera inside of Zoom. And that's what I'm able to do. And so I'm going to show you what I do in the software to set it up. And then inside Zoom, you're selecting as your camera OBS Studio. It's the virtual camera. I'm going to show you how that works, and that's what we're doing today. But I use the exact same software for streaming live. You can get your stream key from Facebook on your Facebook page, and you put that in the software, and when you hit start streaming, you're on Facebook. So it's the same software. Use it for Zoom, use it for Facebook. Double duty today. We're setting up your show, and we could be setting up, we're setting up your border, but we could actually be setting you up to do your own show as well. So keep that in mind. There's lots of settings in this software. I'm going to show you kind of some basics today, but of course there's lots of things to tweak, and people make it so complicated. I'm going to show you my even overly complicated setup and still tell you it doesn't need to be that complicated. Make it as simple as you need it to be. As you can imagine, I'm trying all the things, right? I'm testing all the buttons. So here's what it looks like from the inside. You'll download it from that website I showed you, run the installer, and then this is what it looks like when you first open it up. It's a little intimidating. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to break it down and just show you the bare necessities you need to make this work. You'll see in the right-hand column, can you see my cursor over the screen here? Right over here, there's a button that says Start Virtual Camera. The first thing I noticed when I installed this version of the software was that button. That's brand new. So we need to make sure that the version you have has that button. I know it's available on Windows 10 right now. It may or may not be available on Apple. It may or may not be available on Linux. They're adding to the versions all the time. So I can only show you what I can show you on my side and hope that it's similar on your side. But that's the cool new feature, is the virtual camera. So here we go. We're going to dive in. We're going to start building your scene. I'm going to define some words as we go. We need one scene. That's what they call it, as a scene. This is our virtual stage. What you're looking at now in my window, this is my scene. And in the software, you'll notice that they've got a column right over here on the left called scenes. We only need one scene in there. And if there's not one there, you click this little plus button to add one. But by default, when I opened this up, there was one and it said scene. I renamed it. You can call it whatever you want, or you can just leave it there. That's the first thing you need, is one scene. And then on that one scene, we're going to add multiple sources. The next column is sources. Everything else is a source. We're essentially going to be making different layers inside your scene. And this, again, it could be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. So we're going to talk today about adding your video camera, pretty important, and then your logo. You could stop there and it would be awesome. It would be better than everyone else on the Zoom call with you. If you want to go a step further, you can add a background image. And then if you want, you can add a border. And if you want, you can add some special effects. I've done all of those things for you. In this scene, it's black. Do you see my black background? But let me just show you for reference. In this scene, I have my jungle background. So can you see that? These are two separate scenes. And so look at my little talking face. I've got green all the way around it. Do you see the jungle leaves? And then when I switch back, now I'm in my other scene with just my black background. This is the one I built just for Zoom calls. And I've got the passionately speaking logo up here too. 2 different scenes, and I'm switching back and forth. But again, you only need one scene to pull this off. So we're creating one scene, and into that scene, multiple sources. So you could have, again, your video camera, your logo, if you want, a background image, a border, and then some special effects like my snow. It's like a special effect layer. So let's talk about how to do that. The first thing we want to do is we want to add a source. So here is the second column. It's labeled sources, and there's a plus button right down here. This is the button that we use to add each one of those elements. So when you click this button, you're gonna have this window open up with all these different kinds of sources that you can add. So the first thing that we're going to add is your video camera. And what that's called in this panel is a video capture device. I'm going to go back one slide and just show you. It's right here, video capture device. So we're going to click the plus. We're going to click video capture device. And then it just wants us to name it. So I just typed in right here, webcam. That's just what I'm going to name it. Make them simple names. So we're creating the webcam. And after you click that, you're going to see this panel. It's got a drop down here right next to device. And this is where you want to select what your webcam is. So for me, I clicked this one, HD Pro Webcam C920. You pick your webcam. Whatever that is, you're going to select it in this drop down. And then if things work, and hopefully they do in that very second, your picture will pop up right away in this little preview window, and they'll see it. By the way, open this up not inside Zoom. Zoom should be closed at this point. If you do this, if you open Zoom first and then open this, Zoom will be using your camera, and then it can't be found in this. Only one piece of software can run your camera at a time. So you're going to have this open by itself to set it up. So it'll be easy. You'll pick your camera, boom, you'll pop up. There's a lot of settings here that you can configure if you want to. The resolution, the screen size, the video format, the default settings should and hopefully will just work for you. Okay. So pick your camera, pick OK. And then when you do that, it's going to add it to that blank window that we were looking at a second ago. When it does that, it's going to have a red line around where the camera is. You can move that red line. You can grab the box and move it where you want it to be. You can drag the window open to make it as big as you want. So on this picture, you can see that I have the red lines not all the way at the edge, but a little bit in, because I wanted to add the border in the background. If you want your camera to go full screen and then just have a logo over it, that would be awesome. Do it that way. In fact, if that's what you want to do after you've added your camera, you can come right up to edit, transform, and fit to screen. That's going to automatically scale your camera to the same window size as the canvas, is what they call it. And then all you'd need to do is add a logo and you're done. For me, I wanted it to be a little bit more, so I brought mine in just a little bit. You can see it in my panel here. It's not quite to the edge because I want the background and I want the border, and I'll show you how to do that next. So again, we're adding a video camera. It's a video capture. We're positioning it the way we want with those little red boxes, and then we can add the other elements. So all the other pieces that you want to add, whether it's your logo, whether it's your background image, or whether it's a border, those are all images. So it's all going to be done in exactly the same way. So whether you want to start with your logo or your background image, for example, either way, you're going to come down to that plus, except this time you're going to pick image, this one right here, kind of in the middle. And after you select that, you're going to get to this next box where it's going to have you browse on your computer to find the image. So it's a good idea to have a folder where you put the images inside so you know where they are when you go looking for them. And hopefully you have all the elements already ready to go. Pick your image, and when you click OK, again, it's going to drop it right there on the canvas. And you can resize it. You can do that same transition set to fit to screen if you want it to fill the whole background, if it's the background. The other thing that I need to tell you at this point, though, is you're building up layers inside that source panel. And so the things that are on top are going to appear on top, whereas the things that are underneath are going to appear behind the other elements. In other words, your background is going to be in the very most back, so it needs to be the bottom layer of that thing, and then all your other things are going to build up on top of that. And I show that in this very next slide. So by the time I'm done roughly creating this scene, I have my background image at the bottom, and then I have my webcam above that, and then I have my video border on top of that one, and then I have my logo on top of that one. And I have a bigger version of this for you. So when you're done, this is what your source window right here is going to look like. I'll just pause so you can check that out. Those are all the elements you need. And again, you don't even need this many. It could just be webcam and logo. Done. And you're awesome. So I took it a step further, you know. So you can add as many of these layers as you want. You can make it as complicated as you want or not. You can see in my own window, I got a logo in this corner and a logo in this corner and a logo in this corner, right? Oops, this one. And again, it's just add image, move it, size it, totally up to you. I have a free gift to offer you. I couldn't find an easy to use border, so I made my own. I've got one in black, I've got one in green, I made one in purple, and I'll make you one for your own if you want me to. You let me know what color you want your border to be, and I will create it for you and send it to you. And you can put it inside your frame, just like this one. So let me know and I'll make you that color. If we want it to match your logo or contrast with your logo, let me know, cj@gilbertstudios.com, and I'll help you out with the frame part of it. So that's my free gift for being my classmate here. That's the kind of the end of the lesson. I do want to show you a couple other things. There's some advanced techniques. Like I mentioned, you can use multiple slides. So you can, scenes. You can create multiple scenes, and you may want to do that to have one with you big like this, and then another scene with your slideshow, like I was showing you a minute ago we can do. You can also do this with screen sharing. You can show a browser. You could show a website. You can create multiple scenes because maybe you want to have your camera shown on one of them, but not on another one. I'll show you examples of all these in just a minute. So in my show, for example, I might be talking in this big version, and then I'll switch over to my slides, which is just my slides full screen. And then I'll talk for a minute like that. And then I'll switch the camera to a version where it's my slides and me in the corner. And I'll talk for a minute like that. So you're kind of, this is broadcast software. You're running your own show now. And so you're changing that video angle. It keeps the audience engaged, as well as it's practical too. Sometimes they need to see the information full screen. They need to read it. And then sometimes you can appear next to it and gesture to it and talk about it. So you can create these multiple scenes for these multiple reasons. And you can easily see why you can create so many scenes. And they're really easy to duplicate, by the way. You can right click on one of those scenes and click duplicate. It'll make it an exact copy, and then you can change the part that you want to change. And that's super helpful. So other things to add, the effects. So the effects is, I'll show you the effects. This is my bonus fun for you, just to make it a little more complicated. Again, you don't have to do this if you want, but it's fun and it's not too hard. It's easier than you think it is to do this snow. So I'm gonna teach you how to get the snow in here too. So what you're gonna Google is the word, ready? Snowverlay. This is a combination between snow and overlay. It is a snow overlay. It is a snowverlay. I know, nerds, right? But we have fun. Anyway, you're going to Google snowverlay, and this very first option is by twitch.center, and snowverlay, it says snowverlay Twitch Center. When you click on that link, you're going to get this page right here, and this is the tool. They made it for you. If you want to, you can adjust these settings, the flake count, the color, the speed and size, if you want to or not. But basically all you're looking for is this URL right here, this long URL. You're going to copy that URL right there, and then I'll show you where to put it in the software. Remember those sources, remember those layers we're creating? We're going to add one more, click on the plus, except this time we're going to pick browser. This is what's known as a browser source. And again, they want you to name it. I just named it snow. And then on the very next screen, it's going to look like this one. you put in that long address that we pulled in from the web page a second ago, you put it in right here where it says URL. It's a long link, it takes up the whole thing, and then you can adjust the width and height if you want to. Or yes, once again, once you've added this layer, you can right click on the layer and you can click transform fit to screen. So it doesn't matter what size it ends up being. When you hit fit to screen, it snaps in place like that. And again, you want that layer to be on the very top because that snow needs to be in front of everything else. So that's how we do it. Now there's one more step to get this to actually completely show up in Zoom, but I already told you what it was, but now I'm going to show you. So in order to connect it to Zoom, we have to do two things. Number one, inside the OBS software, we're going to click that button that says Start Virtual Camera. And then inside Zoom, we're going to select OBS Virtual Camera. I'll show you what both of those things look like. Here's the button right here inside OBS, Start Virtual Camera. This software, you've got to click Start before it actually starts sending your signal out. You'll notice that there's a button to start virtual camera, to start streaming, to start recording. Yes, you can use this to record your very own show or videos or whatever you want right to your own computer. Yes, this is also how I record my videos that I put on YouTube and Facebook and anywhere else you want to. One software can do it all for you. And those are the buttons. So you can play around in this software and feel comfortable that you're not broadcasting your signal to the world until you click one of the start buttons. So that's the one you're looking for, Start Virtual Camera. And then you open up Zoom, then you open up the Zoom window or meeting. So you're going to run OBS first to get that virtual camera started. Then right over here where you pick which video camera you want in this little Zoom pop-up window, one of the options will now be OBS virtual camera. So when you pick that, boom, now you show up right here inside. So that is the end of my presentation, so to speak. I can demo what my own Zoom, my own OBS looks like with all the crazy stuff going on, and or show you the transitions, and or share with you, you know, the scenes that I use and whatnot, as well as take any of your questions at this time. Arvee, you're muted.
All right, so very, very cool. Thank you so much. Woo! That was like,
It's a fire hose, I know.
wonderful, and it's all for free. So I just want to make sure I understand. So you're going to the OBS first. You did like all this background stuff, and now every time you come to a meeting, whether it's your entrepreneur meeting or this meeting, you, instead of launching my link for Zoom to get in here, you first go to OBS.
Yes.
Launch it there.
Yes,
And
that's
then
exactly right.
you come to Zoom and launch on a meeting ID.
That's exactly correct.
Wow, that's interesting. And that gets you all this.
Yes, that's exactly right. So now that software, OBS, is acting like my camera. So my camera is actually going to OBS directly. It's picking up the whole scene and it's bringing in that whole scene inside here. Now I could run my whole show. I could do my whole thing with leaving Zoom completely aside, not having any Zoom controls whatsoever. I'm in control of my own square. So I can shift over here to my jungle background. I could shift over to my slides. I can use my transition, my Christmas transition to bring you to my slides. I could run through my slides just like this in my presentation and thank Arvee. And this is what you see instead of my face. And then I could transition on back to my face. There's a lot of flexibility that you have inside your own window, having nothing to do with the rest of the Zoom controls. It could be someone else's meeting and you're still being you. You're just in charge of you.
And you, and I mean, you don't have to like you still have to like have permission in Zoom to share your screen and all that.
Don't tell, not if you do it this way.
Really?
Yeah. And this is the problem with Zoom bombers. This is the kind of stuff they're using, by the way, to create this mayhem, is they can control their own square and what's feeding into their video signal.
And you can't like remove somebody?
You can remove someone. You can kick anyone out of the meeting that you want to. Absolutely. So use this for good. Use this power for good only.
So if somebody uses, like Lisa used this, and she comes into my meeting in the morning, then I don't have to transfer co-host controls anymore.
That's correct.
Okay, because I did that for you, but I don't have to. But does that mean that if you don't have co-host, you can't let people in? You just can control your own
You
square.
control your own square. That's right.
You can't do the other things that a co-host can.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just acting like your video connection into the meeting.
Wow. That's fascinating.
And it depends. It's very cool to do this and transition to my slides and all that kind of stuff, but I still think that there's greater practical value inside Zoom to use the Zoom share, because it's granting your audience the ability to control how they get that. For example, do they want the slides bigger? Do they want me bigger? They can control that inside Zoom if you're using the built-in screen share.
And but we can't do anything now with you being big. You're just big.
You can put it back into the gallery view at this point.
Oh, okay.
If you change your view in the corner.
Okay, got it. But then, okay.
CJ, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You know what? I may still be pinned. I should unpin. If I'm still pinned, that may be the problem.
Move spot.
There we go.
I had a question. In fact, I got a bunch of questions. Let me just start here. So all the slides that you created, did you create that in OBS?
The slides, like my slideshow?
Yeah.
No, that I'm using PowerPoint for my slides.
All right. That's what I wanted to know. And then you just bring it into OBS?
Yeah, how do you do that?
So that is multiple scenes. Let me see if I can share this with you. It's gonna bake your noodle just a little bit, but I can do this. So I'm gonna share with you, this is what my OBS studio looks like. And when you first come into it, you're gonna have this mode right here where it's just one window. I'm using a little bit more of an advanced view because I like this ability to preview the scene that's coming up. So these are all the scenes that I have, and I'm not going to go into everything, but I'm just going to show you, here's my one scene with my black background for Zoom. Here's my other scene with my jungle background. And you can click on these. You can hit transition to switch between them. Here's my here's one with just my slides. So this is a scene with just my slideshow. And here is the version with my slides and my mini camera. So I could be like, and here's the slide I'm on, and ask a web geek, and all the information is available here.
Can I see your black
still
background again?
in the corner. Yep, and then I go
just the
back to
little
my
thing where-
my black background again. So I've got a lot of scenes, and that's what's controlling all the other things that I'm doing. But I didn't really want to necessarily share that because I've already feel like it's overwhelming with so much information at once, when all you need to know is you just need to build one scene to put the elements where you want it, the logo and everything. And then you can toggle them on and off here with these little eyeballs right here. I can turn on my snow just like this. I could turn on and off the Arvee logo just like this. So this is the power of the broadcast software.
Wow. So if you're to do everybody's square, how would they get it for themselves? Is it just you're making an image, but we still need to go to OBS, download it, and get that image?
Yeah, I was offering to help with the border. If you wanted a colored border like this one, I was going to help make that border for you, which is an image.
Okay. And then we get the image, and then we still do the OBS.
You still have to do all the things I showed you. Yeah, you have to have those images in a folder on your computer and know where they are and be able to get to them so you can add those as layers inside your scene.
Got it. I think I'll just stick with something simple.
And you sure can. You absolutely can. And that's the great thing of what's built in right here to Zoom. Yeah.
So CJ, this is a great idea for podcasts, right?
For podcasts?
Yeah.
Well, only if you're going to put them up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Most
Right.
podcasts are, audio, but yeah, I put all mine up on YouTube. But again, remember it, make it subtle, because otherwise it's another block. I feel like it's another block between you
Right.
and your audience. But for shows and broadcasting, I think it's fantastic. Yeah, and
ahead.
branding. Whoa, that's really cool.
I had someone that suggested for me for my art to do a slideshow. What do you think about that? How to use this tool? That would be for you, CJ.
A slideshow.
Yeah, of my art.
Yeah, like a PowerPoint slideshow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that it looks more like like you said, like a show instead of just slides.
Well, you can make PowerPoint a slideshow and have it go automatic and change every 2 or 3 seconds.
Okay.
So,
And you can do that in Zoom too, just sharing your PowerPoint slides.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that all the time in my events. I take people's pictures and put them on a slideshow because everybody loves to see their picture.
Right.
I think it's a film, but it isn't. It's just a PowerPoint slideshow.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can still do that. So let me know if you need help with that.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm all for, CJ saying, keep it simple. I mean, this is good to know. And, and I'm going to probably get it and do it. But again, at some point in time, this isn't our expertise. We don't want to become, web geeks.
Right.
We need to, be speaking and learning how to speak and doing some of those things. So take CJ up on his offer and have him do the frame for you with your logo. And that's all you need. And then just learn how to use it and you're done instead of trying to, do all the layers and the special effects.
That's right.
The geeks love that stuff. They live for that stuff. And this is his business.
Yeah, I will call on CJ anyway.
There you go. Yeah. So keep it real, keep it simple. I'm like, I was all gung-ho, and then after the layers, I'm like, oh my God, help. I got so much stuff piled up that I'm gonna learn. So yeah, take him up on that generous offer. Thank you so much, CJ. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? We have about 10 more minutes. Any other questions or yes?
Okay, CJ, my question was, does OBS do watermarking?
Well, in a way, yes, because if you're referring to watermarking as adding an image over a video, that's what we're doing, right? Because we're creating the video layer, which is the webcam, and then we're adding over the top of it a logo or an image or whatever you want. So this is what's now feeding into wherever you send it, into Zoom or into Facebook or YouTube, or you can go live into any platform from this software.
Okay, because I think watermarking may be a good tool only because when we're looking to keep it simple, one of my ideas was perhaps having my website at the bottom corner, but it's watermarked so that it doesn't stand out from people really focusing on me, but I have all the information there. I see one of the great things about this is that you could have like your title of your speech or your business in one corner. I'm imagining right now like a watermark of my website in another corner, maybe some, but all of it being subtle so that even though I have all of that up there, I still have people attached to or be able to use the border or the background to still have people focused on me, which is still an important thing. But I think the watermarking, if they wanted to go to a website, they could see it there and reference it at any time, but it doesn't have to be pungent on while I'm doing a presentation.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we can create that. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
CJ, Benita, we want to welcome Benita. She's new to the community. She just signed up today. So welcome.
Hey, welcome.
And she does have a question in the chat, but before you answer the question, some of you might have seen Benita before hanging out because she has been at $1 Million, right? And she's been to some of the other classes, Facebook Live and Zoom Mastery and some of those. And she's a recovering attorney turned ventriloquist. So Benita, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit in case someone hasn't met you before?
Yes. That is true. Recovering attorney. You're a liar? I'm not a liar. I'm a lawyer. Oh, what's the difference? Oh, Ruby. This is Ruby. Sorry, I forgot to introduce her.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, it's Arvee. Yes, it's Arvee. Okay, that's
What
a
is your
Hi,
name?
Ruby.
What is your name?
Ruby.
What is it?
Ruby.
Oh, Ruby. That's Ruby. I've met Ruby before.
yes, you have.
Hi, Ruby.
Are you getting dementia? Ruby, that's not polite.
Very cool. Well,
Anyway, I talk on Hold the Hecklers in Your Head, and I last week did my first virtual MC show. I've done some MCing for fundraiser, nonprofit, live, yes. And I loved that. I had so much fun because in between people, different puppets. I have a couple dozen puppets here, and different ones would pop in and make comments. So I'm looking to do more of that.
good. Well, welcome to the community. We love having you here. It's just going to add to our fun. Oh boy, there's another one. Different kinds.
Okay.
Okay, so Benita's question is, why would you record on OBS instead of Zoom if you have Zoom? Very good question.
You can absolutely do either. And for those that know nothing about everything that I just presented, I would tell them record on Zoom. You want to do a simple, video, open up Zoom, start your own meeting, share your screen, record it. Absolutely, you can do it that way.
Is the difference really that if you want the brand of the outline and your logo, then you go
Yes.
with Zoom with OBS?
Yes, the power of OBS is that you're creating your own broadcast and you're able to control everything they see, adding logos, adding other elements, having slides, transitioning to your slides and back again, having the picture-in-picture of your face on top of the slides. Again, Zoom does all that stuff for you automatically. When you just pop into a meeting and hit share screen and you're sharing your slides, it does that for you. This is
When you say you're creating your own broadcast, what does that mean? A broadcast versus it's just you can customize it more from what you could do on Zoom or something.
Yeah.
What's your question, Benita?
Well, because I keep hearing we're creating our broadcast, and I guess I'm really trying to grasp what the advantage of having our own, I guess I thought you were broadcasting when you do something from Zoom to YouTube. So I don't know. I'm still trying to grasp it.
Well, I think I'll just try to see if I can answer that. Two things. One, he has a border and branding, which we don't in Zoom. But two, it looks like OBS actually records and you can see the recording and you can edit it. Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
I don't edit it inside OBS. It's it creates the recording. The next step is what you do with that recording. Upload it, edit it. I do both. Yeah.
Okay, but does OBS, is it an editor like AVS is or no?
No, it's the broadcast software. And that's why I keep using the word broadcast, because it's broadcast software. And that's what OBS stands for, Open Broadcast Software.
And it broadcasts to not only, you hook it to Zoom, but it goes other places?
You're in control. You're in control of where you're broadcasting it. And Benita is confused because she's thinking of Zoom and says, well, isn't that what Zoom is? Yes. Yes, that is what Zoom is. Yes. Zoom is a new tool that we're using to do meetings, and you can use it like a broadcast tool and go live on Facebook. Yes, you can. Absolutely.
So Zoom
this is instead of
broadcast. Zoom is also a broadcast system.
Correct.
You just don't call it that. Okay.
Correct. It is. It
Okay.
is also yes, but OBS does more, I would say. You can't have a virtual meeting inside OBS. It's a different piece of software.
Oh, good point.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think we are in the most fascinating day of an age of technology ever before. I mean, it just gets better and better and better. I can't keep up, but I can't believe what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Some of you are way too young. When we didn't even have a cell phone.
Yes.
Remember the beepers? You know,
Mhm.
remember, you'd wait for people to pick you up and there was no way you could contact them. I mean, now we can contact people all over the world. We're speaking, like in Paris, France, one day, Las Vegas, another, Colorado, another, right? It is amazing what's happening. I mean, it's just mind blowing, but just be grateful. If it wasn't for the internet and we had the pandemic, I'm afraid most of us would be out of business.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
But being able to pivot and switch and learn some of these new things, because now guess what? And this is what CJ is saying to you. All right. We are all going to Zoom and a lot of us will continue. Now I've been in Zoom, as I mentioned, since 2015. So this isn't new to me, but it is new to some of you. But here's the thing. How do we stand out on Zoom now?
Yeah.
Doing what
Yeah.
CJ just did. Have
Yeah.
a plan. It's going to be harder and harder to get out of the box or at least be noticed because we're all clamoring to all these meetings. We all get so many. I can't go to meetings, all those meetings. I mean, there is something tonight, a virtual Christmas party. There's something tomorrow. There's this. You have to pick and choose.
Mhm.
I would say pick 2 networking meetings a week tops, right?
Yeah.
That regardless if you're speaking, speak it, go to more of them. But you can't do much more than that, or you wouldn't have a job, you wouldn't have a career. You'd be here serving everybody else all the time.
Mm.
Just so much. It's too much. It's overwhelming.
Mhm.
So pick and choose who you want to be with, and then stand out by doing something like what CJ is doing, and by taking him up on his offer, because that's cool. I'm taking him up on his offer. I don't need to spend time banging around with it. Yeah, Jackie, Jason, Karen. Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, yeah.
I love that hat, Jackie. All right, did anybody have a question? Karen, did you have a question? Yes.
Yeah, just a quick question. I think CJ, you'll answer this in a heartbeat. When you're uploading those images, do they have to be stored on your computer, or can you interface with Google Drive and Google Pics?
It needs to be on your computer. Good question. It needs to be on your computer because the software is running on your computer, and it's got to be in a folder where it can get to that image all the time. So like I mentioned, you'll want to have a folder somewhere that can stay there with those images in there. Call it your Zoom folder, call it your streaming folder, whatever you want to call it.
So
And
I'll
into
have to
that
move them
folder,
over from
into
Google
that folder, you
Drive.
put your background, your logo, your border, and then that's where it's going to pull those images out of.
Yeah, very cool. Jackie says her family got their first TV when she was 8 years old. Was it a black and white one?
Yeah, it sure was. And round.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Oh,
bless
bless
you.
you.
We got our first colored TV in 1965. 1965. Amazing.
That was the year I was born.
In our lifetime, how much everything has grown. I think it has to have grown more than in my parents' time, although they told me a lot of stuff, and that they walked to school 5 miles,
Uphill in the snow,
Go both ways,
barefoot,
headwind both ways.
and I vowed to
barefoot.
myself I would never do that. I would never turn into a person that compared the past. But it's just like, how can you not? How can you not? We've just grown so much and have so much available to us. That's just amazing. I can't even imagine where it's all going. It just keeps going fast, the speed of light.
Okay.
And remember those phones on the wall, and you'd have to take it to the next room to try to, stretch out the long cord, hoping nobody would hear your conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely. The old dial. I have a dial just as an emergency. I have an old dial princess phone that's up in my closet just in case something goes out in the electricity and you can't make phones. Of course, I got it before we
Good
got.
idea, actually.
Yeah. So amazing. CJ, you did it again. I don't know how you do it, but we appreciate anything new and fun that you learn. Please bring it on. And anybody else that has anything that they want to share that's innovative in your own industry, please feel free. We had Jackie share her expertise, and I'm still every day I hear Jackie eat 2 of every color of the rainbow. And I look at my salad and I go, okay, I got tomatoes and I have radishes. Okay, that's red. Okay, good. I've got spinach and I got lettuce. Okay, that's the 2 green. You know? So anything you all want to share, if you've got something you think the group as a whole would love to hear, let me know and we'll put you on as a special. Okay. All right. Excellent. Any last questions before we go? We're right up at the top of the hour. Anything else before we go? All right. So CJ, once again, how should they request their border? What do they do?
Absolutely. They feel free to email me. I'll drop my email here in the chat box for everyone. It's cj@gilbertstudios.com. Feel free to reach out to me. Let me know what color you want your border to be. If you have a logo you want me to match it to, we can do that. Or, you know, if you say red, I might want to say, what color red? You know, what shade of red?
Arvee red.
If you have the hexadecimal value of your color, that would be most ideal. If you don't, well, we'll figure it out.
Excellent. Great. Well, again, thank you, CJ, and thank all of you for coming, showing up and wearing your hats and having fun with me. And Brenda, happy birthday once again. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Brenda?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And we'll see you all next week. I know it is Christmas week, but will everybody come here or am I going to be the only one? All right, perfect. We're going to have another good one for you then next week. And we're going to
ugly sweaters next week.
What?
What are we, ugly sweaters next week?
Yes, it's ugly sweater. And you'll get, and we're going to have a little contest, or ugly dress. I've got a dress that I'm wearing. So ugly sweater, ugly dress, ugly suit.
We have to wear underwear.
I won't tell.
You don't have to wear. We're on Zoom. As long as you're seated, you don't have to wear underwear. All right. So,
all right. I missed Angelique. She was going to give me some competition with her Rams.
Yeah, she was with me for the last 2 days doing our speaker training. So she had duty called her work.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Thank you,
so you can razz her next week. Okay, everyone.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
good week.
Thanks again, CJ. That was
My pleasure.
amazing.
Yeah.